And hello, all my fellow nerds out there. It's Oracle Nerd Richie, and welcome back to Our Life Beginning in All Ways. Last episode we finished off with the hangout session, and today we're gonna be going through the rest of these. Well, that is if I can. So let's go ahead and start this episode off with errands. Okay, new location already. I'm already loving this. From the moment you woke up, you knew that today was going to be busier than usual. There was a list of errands that needed to be finished before the day was done. First up was visiting one of the biggest farmers markets in the area. It was only open 2 weekends a month and during certain parts of the year. It was rare that you and your family were able to attend, so your mom liked to make the most out of every minute of it. And you realized it was not just them feeling that way when you heard a whistle from your left side. Oh, okay, so Cliff's with us. Wow, this is a swanky show. Okay, question, who the hell says swanky anymore? Vegetables have never seemed so highbrow. Seriously, they don't mess around with their products.
Isn't that great?
Isn't it exciting? Liz crossed her arms. You could tell she was amused. Oh, they're here too. I mean, of course they would be. Why wouldn't they be? We couldn't have picked a more perfect trip. It's been so long since we've had a true family outing. Her teasing tones said more than she actually did. Your next door neighbors had joined you on this day, and that's what made it a true family outing. The three parents laughed approvingly. Out of the corner of your eye, you caught Cove looking at you sympathetically. Some things never changed, and some jokes never died. You'd long accepted that. You thought this trip might be fun, you were indifferent, comfortable, bad mood. You were excited to check things out. You thought it might be fun. You smiled, trying to imagine how many stalls were set up. You were curious what hidden gems were waiting for you to discover among them. Well, I'm ready to get started. I've got plenty of dishes in mind I could use ingredients for. Before your moms responded to that, they glanced at each other and smiled. Yes, that's a very good idea, Cliff. This place is much larger than it seems. It's difficult to visit each part in a single day.
I got it.
I'm sure we can make a decent dent together at least. Actually, since there are so many of us this time, we could take different sides of the market.
Sounds good.
Divide and conquer, eh? That sounds brilliant. Everyone watched your mom surprised. No one had considered that an option, but your mom flashed the group a dazzling smile, continuing with the thought. Though it's a little unfair that there's just 4 James family members and 2 Holdens here, so I'll go with you boys to even the odds.
Okay.
That's fine with me. Cliff scratched the back of his neck and slowly met Cope's stare. They both seemed unconvinced, but weren't sure what to say about it. Don't worry, we'll be apart for only a few hours, and then we'll have something to talk about at the end of it. Father and son ultimately nodded, and this wasn't an argument they were going to win.
All right.
All right. I don't get the point, but I also don't mind spending the first part of the trip with Richie and Ma. Ma clapped her hands again right off at that. Wonderful. Are the teams ready to go? Hey, I didn't agree to anything. Yeah, let's go. Can I be the one with to go with the Holdens instead? You stayed silent. Yeah, let's go. Separation does make the heart grow fonder. Delighted, Ma hooked an arm around you in a little side hug. You grinned.
Thank you.
Thank you, Richie. Taking the lead, Mom walked over towards Cove and Cliff, who were still eyeing her confusedly.
Let's go.
Come on, boys, we're heading out. Sure. Okay. Cove looked at you softly, and and found himself pulled forward, stopping in front of you. His expression flickered for a moment, hesitant.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Cove lightly took one of your hands in his and gave it a small squeeze. He dipped his face forward, wanting to kiss it farewell. When instead he stopped midway, his whole body stiff. He jerked his gaze back at your mom, and you realized that she had grabbed the hem of his shirt. She gave it a small tug before letting go.
No, no, no.
Time's a wasting, Cove, and I've known you long enough to be aware of that you're one to linger. If I don't stop you now, you'll only drag your feet on parting ways more. The two of you can snuggle and make out as much as you want later. We have important shopping to do now. Cove gasped at what he felt was truly obscene thing to say. His face burned red, but that was ignored by him. He spoke with an unimpressed roll of his eyes.
Seriously?
You don't need to literally pull me away from Itchy. I'm not that clingy. Mom's. Okay. I'm not even gonna try to say that word. I know it's a real word, but if I try to say it, then YouTube is gonna think I'm saying something else. Okay? I'm white. Okay? Let's just. I'm just gonna replace it. Mom giggled with a shake of her head. Cove's eyebrows raised over the reaction, and he turned to Ma. She wouldn't meet his eye as she whistled innocently. It's like those cartoons, like looking away, whistling, like, I don't know what you're talking about. Liz smirked ear to ear, and Cove whipped his head towards his dad. Mr. Holden couldn't offer anything more than an apologetic shrug. It was only then that it dawned on Cove that everyone did think he was that needy. Finally, he dared to face you with wide, pleading eyes. Who said you were allowed to say that to him? Don't make fun of Cove. Cove is totally capable of being independent when he wants to be. There's nothing wrong with being attached. It's nice. Oh, come on, Cove. You know how it is. Silently, you stared back at him. Cove is totally capable of being independent. He spoke very matter of fact and fixed a stern gaze on the group. Cove, meanwhile, beamed at having your support. Without thinking, Cove took another step forward, feeling drawn to you. Also, again, Mom grabbed the back of his shirt as she tried suppressing her laughter, but a few chuckles escaped. Actions speak louder than words. Cove's mouth twisted as he struggled to come up with something to say in his defense. He was nearly embarrassed all over again. Yeah, well... So what? The admission that had Liz, your mom's, and his dad burst into laughter. Cove grimaced and walked several steps from the group before stopping. He clearly wanted to move on, so much that he was physically moving away. He smiled softly and waved goodbye. When he noticed, Cove's mouth pulled into a bent smile of his own, and he seemed to feel better a bit.
See you later.
See you in a few hours. Take care of yourselves. At that, Mom picked the direction and set out into the market with Mr. Holden, and Cove following behind her. Grinning, Ma sent them off with a big wave. Liz gave a daintier goodbye wave herself. Despite the change in plans, you were still glad to be there. You felt like the change in plans was a good idea. Definitely dampened on your mood. You had been happy, now you were annoyed, you felt unsure about it. You felt like the change of plans was a good idea. Altogether, there were 6 of you, so you could already imagine how long it would have taken to get through even a fraction of the stalls. Smiling, you looked forward to spending some quality time with Ma and Liz. When they were gone, Ma cheerily turned towards you and Liz. She put her hands on her hips. Do you think there will be any nice ginger around here? We'll have to find out. You nodded in agreement, keen to truly get the trip going. Ma led you both into the busy market. Some time passed browsing. There were only a few stalls that you stopped at. You had fun chatting and laughing, pointing out various things to Ma and Liz, and vice versa. At one point, Ma stopped suddenly. She put a hand on her belly and gave a heartfelt smile. Oh, what? Like she always does in her neutral stance? I think I should have used the bathroom before we left home, like the two of you responsibly did. Just need to pee?
Yes.
Yes, Liz. I'll have to visit Lay's room now. Should we all go at it? Should Liz and I go on without you? Should we wait here? Should we go on without you? Ma craned forward as she struggled to pinpoint the direction she needed to go. She gently considered your suggestion. Actually, I might need help finding my way. Can you please come with me, Lizzie? You and your sister had shared a look over that. Well, why do that of all things?
Hey.
Ma, if anyone should go anywhere on their own, shouldn't it be you? You're the one needing the detour, and you're the parent here. Ma giggled, unfazed by the resistance. Liz, meanwhile, tipped the brow of her hat up, watching Ma skeptically. Soon enough, Richie will have to handle doing these kinds of errands on his own. This makes good practice. What? Ma hooked it on around Liz's and pulled her along.
Have fun.
Have fun. We'll find each other again later. Excuse me? There they go. So they're stunned. You know, just wave. Do the wave. Dumbstruck, you gave a small wave as they waded into the crowd. They were out of sight within moments, and what started as a group outing rapidly became you, entirely on your own. You thought, screw them. You were done with this whole trip. You felt great about being left on your own. You were overwhelmed. You thought Ma was being ridiculous, but didn't really mind. You didn't know what to think. I think being on my own is pretty good. Ma thoroughly surprised you with this, but it was freeing. This was good time as any to do things at your own pace. Walked on your own, you found a place to sit where you were left. You texted Cove to meet up. Walk up on our own, why not? Resigned to your fate, you picked up where you left off browsing the stalls. One hooked your attention. Ooh, wait, are these gel? Oh, they actually look really good. While most stalls were selling various garden-grown foods, this one had an array of homemade fudge. Oh, wait, red velvet. Okay, if you guys want to know something about me, I am a fiend for red velvet anything. Like red velvet cakes, red velvet cupcakes. Heck, red velvet fudge is even good in my opinion. There were even vegan versions of every option. Oh come on, why wouldn't I go closer? It looks great. You sidestepped past a few other people and got yourself right in front of the counter for a better look. There was a widespread, dozens and dozens of delicately cut squares and decadence. The owner smiled and approached you and explained their shop. Fudge seller. The fudge is sold in boxes of 4 pieces. They can either be all the same, all different, or any mix you like. Are you looking to buy any today? I get a box to share with everyone. You wanted to get a box just for Cove. Oh, what do? We could be kind to everyone, or we could be kind to just Cove. Oh. I kind of do want to see what we get, like I do want to see what would happen if we got a box for everyone to share, but right now I kind of want to get one for just Cove. I think that would be really nice. Looking at the trees makes you think of Cove. You grinned, hoping he'd like what you pick out. Oh wait, we can get more, okay. We can get a box to share with everyone as well, I guess. The whole section was too good not to share. And that was all. Yeah, sure, a box for myself as well. Okay, oh, yeah, I could use some fudge. I'm glad you came to the right place then. For yourself, you picked. Oh, okay, we actually. Oh, these are all good flavors. Okay, for myself, I picked red velvet and. Oh, okay, wait. Bro, honestly, I am a red velvet fiend. But let's go with cookies and cream. And oh yeah, each of them come boxes of 4, right? I never actually tried key lime fudge. Like I've had key lime flavored water. It's really good. So key lime and chocolate peanut butter. For the group you picked, let's go with the standard. Milk chocolate, dark chocolate, white chocolate, and let's go maple walnut. For Cove, you picked. Ooh. Okay, what do we get for Cove? Okay, let's go with the caramel swirl, white chocolate peppermint, key lime, and dark chocolate mint. The shop owner carefully put your order together. You were already looking forward to when you'd eat your fine selection of fudge. You couldn't help but try to imagine how Cove might react when you presented this to him. Everyone else was definitely going to be happy when you regrouped later. You paid, and there was no stopping the large grin going all across your face. Pivoting on your heels, you wove your way back to the center of the path. You pondered for a moment. What should you do now? None of the stalls were catching your eye. What did grab your attention, however, was a head of a familiar seafoam hair sticking out of the crowd. You knew instantly it was Cove. He hadn't noticed you yet, but he was walking in your direction. He held a couple of bags tightly in his hands. Strangely, you couldn't spot your mom or his dad anywhere. Oh, come on, why wouldn't we call out to him? Oi, Cove! Cove, over here! He instantly stopped dead in his tracks. Alert, Cove's head snapped up and his eyes searched the crowd until they landed on you. His whole demeanor brightened at the sight. Richie! He weaved through passerbys awkwardly in an attempt to get through as fast as reasonably possible, nearly stumbling more than once. You bounced in place, excited for him to reach your spot. You ran to meet him. You ran into his arms. It's best to wait. We shouldn't make too much ruckus in the crowd. Oh, whoops. I scrolled back. My bad. It only took a moment for him to arrive. It was undeniable that he was shopping by himself. You stared at him, confused. Where's the rest of your group? Cove crossed his arms defiantly, the bag twisting in front of him. Your mom took my dad and I ended up alone. Why are you by yourself? Me and Ma and Liz abandoned me too.
What?
What? I can't believe this happened to both of us. They planned it. They had to. But I don't know why. Are they pranking us? I don't know either. And you meant it. You couldn't fathom what your moms were up to. Cove shook his head, trying to clear his mind.
So...
Well, His change in tone caught your attention. You watched his eyes start to twinkle with mischief as his mouth pulled into a cheeky smile. You know, it is technically later, and your mom isn't around this time. Oh my God, Cove! You chuckled, knowing exactly what he was implying. Gee, I wonder what Cove could possibly be implying. That incident was already replaying in your head. I don't really feel like it right now. Bashfully, you nodded. You know, I think this would be a cuter option. Go a step closer. He looked at you accordingly, and you wondered if everyone in that part of the market could also hear your heart pounding in anticipation. He leaned in and you met Cove part of the way with more eager force than he anticipated. and you could feel him smile when he parted to chuckle for a moment. Cove kissed you again. It was brief, but enough, and it left you feeling energized. I'm glad it's later.
Me too.
I love the voice acting in this game. So, his gaze wandered off as one of your parents might simply appear if he kept checking, and you could tell he was still processing the situation. He scratched the back of his head, looking sheepish. Do you want to forget about whatever's happening and go shopping together? You know what? Definitely. There was a little care in your mind for what your moms had planned. You were ecstatic at the thought of spending the rest of the trip with him. Cove was going twisted into a conspiratorial one. You both knew that you were going against whatever had really been planned for this outing, but luckily neither of you cared one bit at this point. So where to first? I don't mind going back the way I came if it's new to you. It's not hard to miss stuff even if it's gone past. What have you gotten? Cove shuffled his bag around and started pulling them open so you could peek inside each one. You recognized the array of things he picked up on the market. I mostly got typical things I can use pretty easily so far. Nothing super exciting. There were a few onions, some lemons, sweet potatoes, and among other things, they were wrapped up so you could discern what they were. What Cove bought made sense, but it was far from a complete selection. You glanced around in the nearby stalls. Want to start over there? Cove followed your eye as you pointed at one of the larger stalls. It was filled with several kinds of staple fruits and vegetables.
Come on.
Yeah, let's go. Only once a few people finished paying and moved, you and Cove got yourself directly in front of the shop. There were so many things to pick from. Oh, we actually get to pick. Alright, apples. Sure, why not? Well, definitely some lettuce. Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. These are stuff that I would personally get, to be honest. Carrots? Honestly, I do. Okay, one thing you guys probably know about me is that I actually get this from my mom, but me and her really don't like tomatoes. Like, tomatoes they just don't taste good in my opinion. They don't taste that great. I guess lemons, we can get that. Peaches. Peppers. And that was everything. The shop owner put your selection together and handed it to you in a couple bags. Happily, you paid and waited for Cove to make his purchase. Ready to go? Cove grinned, satisfied with his new choices. He had another bag to his small but growing collection. You nodded. Actually, before moving on and everything, I was wondering if you'd want to hold hands while we were shopping. Really? You don't have to... Cove, you don't have to ask, buddy. There was no way you could say no to that face. Delighted, you laced your fingers with his, without hesitation. Cove squeezed your hand back. With renewed eagerness, your boyfriend nodded his head in the direction you had been going towards.
Alright.
Okay, now let's go. You and Cove wandered the market on the lookout for any stalls that caught your attention. Cove was walking around with a spring in his step, talking about the various meal ideas he had in mind. After a while, you had to go greater distances to find something of interest. Several of the stalls were selling the same goods, but it was only a matter now of which you wanted to buy from. You continued ambling down the path until Cove stopped suddenly, literally pulling you away from your thoughts. Cove? You followed his eye-line past the crowds. Immediately you knew what grabbed him. Homemade jams and local honey. That stall was glittering with quaint glass jars, stacked high, each encasing gels of varying colors. Cove's eyes were practically sparkling at the sight. His feet automatically began to take him there, likely without being fully aware he had made an unexplained detour. When you got closer, you were surprised there were even more varieties than you thought. There were even different honeys based on what type of pollen the bees used. Okay, that is attention to detail. I really like that. Cove's focus seemed to be torn between the bottle of blackberry jam and one of the clover honey. You want some honey? Honey? Yes, earnestly. Yeah. Did you want some honey? You said just to tease him. I wonder what on earth could have possibly want this. You could possibly want at this stall. Everything looks really good. You shook your head and disapprovingly, you quietly left him to his dilemma. Oh, come on. Why wouldn't I tease him? You want some honey? Honey? Dumbfounded, Cove nodded in response. His face was burning red. You grinned, way too pleased at your own joke. You thought things over for yourself too. Oh, clover honey, orange blossom honey, spring wildflower. There's so many types of honey. I've had like honey on like, I've had honey before. It tastes pretty good. Though honestly, if I tell you guys, honey on pancakes is one of the best things ever. Oh wait, hold on, actually, let me move my avatar so that you can actually see the options. There we go. See, now it looks plenty nicer. I actually don't really know what kind of honey and jam I want. Like, I never really one for jelly or jam at all. You got honey butter, why not? Okay, I'm not usually one for jam, but I guess raspberry jam isn't that bad. Oh, blueberry. Blueberry is also pretty good, I won't lie. And actually, orange blossom honey, why not? And that was everything. You paid in the shop owner started putting together your order. They carefully packed it in a single bag with paper. Thank you very much. Amused, you watched Cove give in and just buy both clover and black honey and blackberry jam. He also went all in, getting spring wildflower honey and plum jam too. The shop owner thoughtfully wrapped each in brown paper to protect them before putting them away in a bag. He handed the purchase to Cove.
Thank you.
You both stepped away from the stall. Cove didn't fail to notice the look you'd been giving him since he agonized over his toast poppers. Hey, this doesn't go bad for a long time, so why not stock up? I could have chosen one if you wanted to. Sure, and I can get it. Why do you think I got so many? Good then. As he began to stroll, Cove looked up at the sky. He smiled. It was sort of unexpected, considering all this was technically an errand, and unexpected changes often upset him. But he was happy, and Cove liked doing this kind of normal thing. And you could tell that Cove especially enjoyed doing these kinds of things with you. Cove's pleased attitude annoyed you. Come on, stop giving us options like this. You were just feeling down about how the trip turned out. You're feeling the same as him. You both think about how comfortable doing this with Cove felt. Honestly, first one. It felt more than normal or mundane. It felt right. We're so domestic. I'm glad you're having a good time. I kind of wonder what the others are doing right now. You remain silent. I'm glad you're having a good time. Cove chuckled. His gaze fell to his bags, and he was clearly thinking about all the treats he just bought.
So?
Are you having fun too? Yeah, I really am. It's been a good day. Later, when you spotted a less crowded area, you took a break from browsing. Cove started rummaging through one of his bags just to check out check on how his goods were doing. A smile grew on his face as he went onto the next. He chuckled, knowing that Cove wouldn't let anything go to waste. There wasn't a single doubt he was going to eat it all. You held a hand in front of your face as you squinted upward. The sun had moved quite a bit, but you'd been at the market for a good while now. Neither your feet nor your arms were sore right now, and Cove looked to be doing fine too. But that was something that could be coming. There was a price to pay for this much shopping, and it wasn't always just in money. Want me to carry your bag? Want a piggyback ride? What is this obsession with piggyback rides? You know, how about we switch things up this time? Cove gave you an odd look until he realized that you were completely serious. He burst into laughter. Come on. His chuckling died down. You could tell Cove was somewhat considering your offer. But he shook his head. No, I've got all these bags and I don't really do piggyback rides. My dad was the only one I ever got them from. I can do it, Cove, and I want to. Give it a try. Well, He twisted in place uncomfortably while you continued to stand firm, and then he relented. Alright, we can try. A grin broke out on your face. Somehow that was meant to be a favor for him, and a favor for him had ended up like he was going to be to the trouble for you. But you had still won this round. Okay, up you go. You crouched down low for Cove to get on. Cautiously, he draped himself against your back and wrapped his arms around your neck. He tried tucking his long legs in as you slowly stood up a bit, while you worked on getting your hands around him to help hold. But it was awkward with all the bags. Still, you continued on.
Oh my god.
His voice came out with a disbelieving squeak. Cove was still on you while you were standing upright. You did it. His grip was so tight it was slightly uncomfortable, but there was no stopping the grin growing on your face. You knew he was gonna have a fun time. And with that, you and Cove continued your trip to the market together. Mom and Mom both texted you during the trip, though only to say that they hoped you'd found some good stuff, and that they'd see you later. There were no answers on where they went or why. You and Cove continued to wind your way through the crowd. With a bustling market, the list of outstanding items steadily shrinking while bags grew heavier. Cove must have had a fantastic view of the market from your back. You might have thought it would be helpful to find produce needed, but you would have been wrong. Putting Cove closer to the sky had made it easier for him to lose his head in the clouds. You heard as much about cool birds and people's stylish hair as you did about where you might find the next thing to pick up. So he was just reveling in the new experience, and that was okay. Eventually, he realized that he'd not been checking his phone in a while. He couldn't reach it from his current position, so you came to a stop out of the flow of foot traffic and let him pop down. Cove rearranged all the bags he was carrying, freeing a hand so that he could pull out his phone. You watched his eyes dart over the screen as he read the waiting messages. Not important, I could reply to that later. He mumbled his verdict under his breath. Then Cove's face scrunched up with confusion.
Huh?
Wait, I've got a message from my dad. Listen to this. Cove, I wasn't part of the plan. I didn't know what was going on when I left with Richie's mom. Where are you? He sent that ages ago. I didn't hear it come in. He sent another one since then. Says he hopes I'm alright and that he's not bothering me. The next one said everybody's going to the parking lot soon. We can meet up there. He lowered his phone, eyes narrowed. The same conclusion was settling on you had landed on Cove as well. So it was on purpose. The crowd of people passing by stayed as noisy as ever, a sharp contrast to the sounds that had fallen over you and Cove. He was rubbing his screen of his phone against his shirt, wiping away dust and debris. He continued scrubbing the screen long after anything could have remained. The action a poor substitute for pushing away the awkwardness of the moment. You were furious. You didn't care about what your moms had done. You're struggling to comprehend this. The shock was too fresh for you to even know what you felt. The shock was too fresh. I don't care about what my mom's done. It hadn't changed what you'd done today. Only who you'd done it with. That can be really weird, huh?
Are you okay?
Are you alright? His voice was gentle. Yeah, really. That's good. Abandoning us without a warning wasn't a really cool idea, even if they meant well, which they probably did. He looked you straight in the eyes. Not making a big deal out of this is nice. I'm not exactly thrilled, personally, so if you do want to complain to me, you can. Maybe I'm kind of mad. Okay, I'm disappointed. You can be kind of annoying to me. You didn't say anything else. You didn't say anything. I don't have anything to complain about. Nothing? Ever? I don't know. His mouth hung open and then he laughed.
No way.
Come on, you gotta have plenty of stuff to complain about just from the stunts I've pulled myself, let alone what's happened today. You cracked a grin of that despite yourself. He could certainly be a troublemaker when he wanted to be, but he could also be so kind. After a moment, he stepped away from you, face turned. Cole closed his eyes and took a deep breath. His brows creased and furrowed deeper into his scowl, his arms tightly coiling together. So they did do something stupid. I knew it. His voice had taken an exaggerated quality, but what truly distinguished it from the Cove's typical speaking tone was the abundance of rage. This is such a chore. Parents are so dumb. Why do people have to go places with family members anyways? I hate them. You got it instantly. It had been years since the boy with the bowl cut had been in town for the summer, but Cove had never forgotten. To this day, he continued to unleash his impersonation whenever he felt the moment was right. Sometimes you wondered if the act had grown more exaggerated over the years, or if the kid really was always that ridiculous. That kid's never gonna live that down, huh? Not ever. Cove gave you a lopsided smile, letting the joke rest for now. Come on, we should probably go meet up with the group. Yeah. You didn't dally any longer, slipping back into the crowd and making your way towards the entrance of the farmer's market. It didn't take long to reach the parking lot. Your parents, Mr. Holden, and Liz were already waiting there, and they waved at the both of you as you approached. Wait, did my character forget about the fudge that they were holding? Your own family seemed to be in pretty good moods, in contrast to Mr. Holden. He stared at Cove, open concern as you got closer. Hey, bud. Hey, Richie. How you doing? We'd be doing better if we hadn't been abandoned at the farmer's market by our families. You saw your mom's frowning in response, Ma glancing from Cove to Mom with blinking eyes. Just because Richie is really laid back doesn't mean you can just leave him out of your plans and expect him to go with it every time. Ma hung her head, ashamed, and Mom had a hand pressed to her cheek. You couldn't tell that they were quickly regretting their scheme.
I am so sorry.
I'm so sorry, Richie. Her words were full of emotion. Mom squeezed Ma's arm. We were trying to make the errand more of a trip, less of a chore. Ma nodded. We didn't think you, Cove, and Liz wanted to be stuck trudging around the market with your parents all day. Especially not in the summer. But you were always very thoughtful and don't like to leave your moms behind. So we did so we did ourselves. It was only going to be for the market, not the other stops, I promise. Still, you're right. We could have just told you and let you make your own call. I really am sorry. Neither of us meant to upset you.
I'm really sorry.
All gas, no brakes. And we should have known better. Sorry. Ma ditched me too after pulling her urgent potty break stunt, if that helps. I went off to do my own shopping as it seems they planned.
Sorry.
I didn't want to check back with you. I wasn't thinking and just tried to blow it off. You quietly took in their stories of what happened. Over to the side, Cove was talking to his dad. Thanks for telling me something was up, though I feel bad for missing the warning when you sent it.
You're welcome.
It's no trouble, sport. I learned my lesson about making surprise plans. Cove smiled at his dad, Mr. Holden, laughing, and clapped. Mr. Holden, laughing, clapped Cove on the back.
Not bad.
Oh, we're really being outplayed today. You realized you hadn't been the only onlookers to the Holden's moment. Your moms were exchanging rueful looks. Liz had her arms crossed over her chest, patiently watching it all unfold. Yes, looks like it. We better find some way to catch up.
In that case,
Maybe we can do Richie's chores for the next week? Mom jabbed Ma on the shoulder. You might be onto something, Richie. How do you like the sound of that? They looked at you hopefully. Make it 2 weeks. You're gonna have to do more than that. I'll think about it. You don't have to do anything. I was never mad. That's wonderful. We'll still do better. Come on. And at the very least, we can make sure everyone stays together for the rest of the stops we're making today. You all nodded at the suggestion.
yes.
We won't let you down. We'll be the best sheepdogs ever, guarding the flock and catching any strays.
Funny.
We can at least be shepherds. You chuckled, your mood lifting in spite of the bumpy morning. It was going to be alright. You turned to the entrance for the farmer's market for one final glance, pressing into your memory under this new light. You thought on what you had picked up at the market, and you were going to enjoy it later. Some things you could only get from the local suppliers like this. That was another perk about coming along to the market today. Actually, you realized this would be a good time to bring out the fudge you share everyone. Oh, now they think about it. Damn. Well, everyone was clustered together. Hey, wait, before we go, I got something for everybody. The announcement grabbed everyone's attention, and they looked over at you, each curious what you had in store. You dug your hands into the bag and pulled out a specially selected treat. I saw this amazing fudge stall, so I got a box for us to share. Oh.
Aww.
That's so sweet of you. The Holdens were wearing matching grins at the prospect of free dessert, their family resemblance more notable as they mirrored each other's expressions. Yeah, I can see it. Sweet is the right word for this. Thanks very much, Richie.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
You're fantastic.
Great, can't wait to bust it open. We should save it for tonight. You can't properly enjoy a treat when there's still chores to be done. Besides, we don't want to make a mess with it melting in this heat. Leaders murmured their agreements and nodded, reaching a consensus. You stowed the box away safely for now. Kelvin slid up next to you with an eager smile on his face. You could tell his expression that he was up to something. Thanks again for getting the fudge. It was really cool of you. You knew he hadn't come over just to thank you individually, not with that huge smirk. I've got something to share too, but, well, only really with you. I guess I'm not as nice. Oh well. You cooked up a scheme of your own? He laughed. Anyway, well, I sort of picked something out with you in mind. Oh? A gift? You held your hand to your chest, staring at Cove as he explained further.
I mean...
Since your mom decided we should shop separately, I figured I could use the time to get you something, just as a little surprise. Oh, that's so sweet of him. He reached into one of his bags and retrieved one of the wrapped up objects. You accepted the unexpected present, and he looked excited as you tore off the paper. It was a glass bottle of chocolate cream drink. You didn't need to taste it to know it would be nice. It was a boutique product. It was heavy in your hands. The container and smart metal cap reaffirming the quality. Even the label, constructed from the coarse paper rather than a flimsy sheet of plastic, was distinctive. You were practically bouncing in anticipation, and he smiled sweetly at your reaction. It's not a big deal, but I just thought you might like it. Thanks. You always give me things you smiled in. You're so wonderful. I can't believe we both got something for each other. Actually, we're a real pair. You weren't ready to unleash your surprise on him. You weren't the only one who had that idea. His eyes began to widen. I got something for you too, when you weren't around. There was a burst of laughter, first from your mom's, followed by a chorus of chuckles from the other three. You'd forgotten that they were still hanging around. Unfortunately, they had paid you and Cove the same courtesy and had been listening to your conversation. You weren't even apart for a whole day. And you both still used that chance to get each other little gifts. Mom clasped her hands together, eyes bright.
Good job.
That's so lovely. A day? It was less than a whole morning.
Right?
True. I don't even want to think about what happens when you two spend real time apart. That's my boy. You reach back into the bag where you first retrieve a box of fudge for everyone, shuffling it aside to take out the other one underneath. You chuckled coolly. Wait, is that even a word? Aware that the others were still watching you. The first one was for everybody, but that's not all I got. I bought a second bunch of fudge just for you. Cope's face lit up, his grin stretching from ear to ear. The laughter that came from the others, who were fully tuned into your little show, didn't appear to reach him.
Seriously?
Really? It's only for me? Cope took the box of fudge in one hand and claimed one of your hands with his other. He used the hold he had to lead you closer to him, while he lifted the hand to his mouth and peppered kisses over your knuckles. Thank you. He looked at you with shining eyes. At this rate, it wouldn't just be your little group that knew that you'd been treating him. The whole parking lot was gonna learn about it. Behind Cove, you could see Mom watching you both with a smile of hilarity. See, this is why you're so attached. You've spoiled him. You shouldn't make fun, Pam. It's clearly mutual. Besides, I don't hear you complaining when I'm spoiling you. Ma pinched Mom's cheek, making her laugh as she batted the hand away. True. Liz clapped her hands together with the air of a teacher calling for attention. Since the other adults aren't acting like grown-ups, the rest of us are going to have to pick up the slack. It's time to get back on schedule and continue the rest of the errands. Playtime is officially over. Mal laughed while Mr. Holden grinned awkwardly. Mom hung her head in an exaggeration display of mock defeat. Kids are tough, and I can't even call them kids anymore. Liz tut-tutted with amusement at her mother. Ko shrugged, staying a neutral observer, but the small smile on his face revealed that he was enjoying the conclusion. You laughed, glad that everyone was getting along. That's right, we're all grown-ups now. With that, your trip with the farmer's market was closed. It was time to move on. There were too many of you for one car, so you and Cove had wound up in Mr. Holden's car on the way over. You figured that it made sense to do the same. for the next leg of the journey. You sat next to Cove in the back. Oh? Immediately after the click of the seatbelt in its lock announced that Cove was safely strapped in, he began to unfold the box of fudge he had been given. You're gonna eat now? Uh-huh. He nodded eagerly, taking his eyes up from the container. He lifted the top off and longingly admired the selection inside. Minty fudge is perfect for the end of snacking. It's so refreshing. Is the green fudge lime? Yeah, key lime. That's amazing because it's fudge, but it's also fruity somehow. They have one with caramel? Oh, it's gonna be so nice. Once Cove had finished bestowing praise on what you picked, he promptly started sampling the selection. He was smiling, licking his lips and having a grand old time. You could also tell from the way he was nibbling, it was turning into munching, that the box wasn't going to survive the trip to the next stop. You were right. Cove had tried to savor the treats, claiming just one more until there was only one left. The statement was finally forced to be true. He finished the last one too. He sighed contentedly.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Richie. Those really were great. You're welcome. He set the picked clean box to his side, then rested his hands on his spoiled tummy. Cove wasn't going to be hungry for a little while after that. From there, he sat wordlessly, gaze drifting to the window. You knew Cove well enough to spot the signs of when he was physically present, but mentally elsewhere. The way he would fall quiet, staring out, seeing the long blinks, all of which he was doing right now as he looked at nothing in particular. He licked his fingers absentmindedly, getting the last of the melted fudge off his hand. You were pleased he enjoyed it so much. Is it too late to ask for a taste? You teased him. I would have enjoyed a bite too, you said seriously. You looked away, feeling bashful over how well your gift had been received. You know, let's tease him. Why not? Is it too late to ask for a taste? Cove straightened at the sound of your voice, his pose stiff. He turned away, his hand smacking over his mouth instead. You were miles away for a second. What were you thinking about? Well, I was just thinking about how nice you are. How nice I am? Yeah. His face grew redder as his hands clenched around the top of his knees. You stared at him, hoping for an explanation, but Cove simply ducked his head. When he next spoke, his voice was barely more than a whisper. I'm lucky I get to be with you. Aww. I feel lucky too. He peeked at you from the corner of his eyes, still too shy to look at you directly. You smiled at him affectionately, eliciting an equally caring smile from Cove in return. You felt content, secure in your relationship with Cove. Want to save a drink for you? Decide to enjoy your drink now? I'll save it for later. It was clearly special. You intended to make sure that you gave it the attention it deserved. You spent the rest of the day completing the remaining errands all together as a group. You enjoyed the brief independence. It might not come around about under ideal circumstances, but it had provided you an opportunity to spend time making your own choices. You felt that you had risen to the challenge. Oh, that was so nice, and oh my god, and my goodness, I have already been recording for almost an hour already. My god, that was longer than I thought it would be. But anyway, anyways, I guess I'll go ahead and probably end this episode here. We'll continue to the next moment in the next episode. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, comment what you think, share this with your friends, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a single notification. I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye.
You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a